I came into the hospital at 40 weeks, the day before I gave birth to Isaiah. It was a lengthy experience. I waited for a while for the doctor to come into the room. By the time the doctor came into the room, I needed an emergency C-section. When Isaiah was born, there was no cry, no movement. They immediately started doing CPR. They resuscitated him, took him to the NICU. From the NICU, I learned that he had aspirated on meconium, and he had lost a great amount of oxygen to the brain, and he also started seizing like his second day of birth.
My perspective is, it's difficult watching someone that you care for going through something like that.
I didn't get any information about what was going on until maybe about 2 days later. He was in the NICU for about a week or two. They really didn't give me a good explanation. So little bits and pieces came out here and there from different doctors, different nurses. Other than that, they never really came out fully to tell me what it was that was wrong.
I'm a clinical massage therapist, and so I have a little bit of background in medical, and so, but I still didn't know the right questions to ask. You kind of expect that they're the professionals. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing everything right. So you kind of place all of your faith in their hands. It's a powerless type of situation.
I got the full thing of what was wrong, like his full diagnosis really, when I read the discharge papers. Like bits and pieces in the discharge papers is what, I was kind of piecing it together myself, because they never really gave me a concrete answer as to what was going on or what he was diagnosed with. He didn't get diagnosed till much later, like years later down the line. He got diagnosed with cerebral palsy. He got diagnosed with a seizure disorder. He got diagnosed with microcephaly. It's a lot to deal with. If you never had a special needs child before, you wouldn't, it doesn't come with a book. So it's like a day-by-day learn.
It's very taxing on the relationship, to say the least. Especially if you don't have any history of, dealing with something like that. So it's real taxing.
So every day was a new thing. As he got older and older, it's like, okay, it gets easier, but it's nothing you get used to.
There were a few lawyers that were contacted before we contacted baby birth injury lawyers. However, they didn't help. They weren't of any help. And so, which is the reason why we contacted baby birth injury lawyers.
My experience with baby birth injury lawyers was wonderful. They made me feel like family. They made me feel like they actually cared. It wasn't just another case to them. I feel like they put their all into it. They got the top people to find out what was going on and what really happened. Being in the courtroom with that much spotlight on you is a lot. I was nervous. I was scared. But I wanted justice for my baby. Just to listen to some of the past doctors that I dealt with, and to hear some of the excuses and the reasons, I was just more glad that I contacted the baby birth lawyers.
Contacting baby birth injury lawyers, it just returned our lives to a little bit more normalcy, made things a lot easier to deal with. If you suspect your child was a victim of medical malpractice, the Baby Birth Injury Lawyers Group is the team to call.